Hi everyone, Jamie Humphries here for Six String Alliance, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Bandbox Trio from JBL. So what is the Bandbox? Well, the Bandbox is a personal amplifier. It's designed with guitar players in mind, but this the Bandbox Trio, is very much aimed at sort of interaction and playing with other musicians, as well as solo performance and solo practice. And it has some super interesting and really cool features, which open it up to quite a few different workable scenarios that you might find that you would investigate getting this. Essentially what you have is a 135 watt amplifier. It's super loud. It's got a pair of full range speakers as well as a subwoofer. First of all, I haven't got this plugged into the power. It's fully rechargeable and it will run up to 10 hours off of its internal rechargeable battery. I think the little one is up to about 6 hours. Okay, so I've flipped it over that hopefully you can see the controls on the top. You've got these buttons here. First of all, we've got the mixer stage, like the master mixer, so you can see all of the different inputs, and we have the level controls for different inputs. These are the inputs that are being used at the moment. So we have the master volume, we have the streamable music, and I have the guitar cable in. As you plug those in and out, different cables in and out, it activates the channels. If I move down here, we have channel 1. Channel 1 and channel 2, we've got a combined XLR and jack socket on the back. So you can, and you've got a little switch here as well, that if I switch that now, yeah, you have to be, that one works on channel 1. It's going between the mic line and a line level instrument. So you can either plug microphones into there if you're singing, or you can plug in other instruments. When you're plugging in your microphones, if you want to sing, it's got reverb and delay. Now, channel 3 is the designated guitar channel. So we've got a guitar cable in there at the moment, which has activated that. And built into this is an onboard modeler. Now, the modeling on this unit is actually pretty good. It's not going to be up there with your Fractal Audio or your Quad Cortex or those other designated units, but it's definitely of a high enough quality that makes it very usable. You've got some really good amp models based on, classic Fender style, Vox style, Marshalls and high gain amps, different speaker cabinets that you can mix and match. You've got full control over all of the EQ as well, plus a whole host of pre and post effects. So you can really tailor some great sounds. You can also save your favorite presets to a page where you can quick access those. And as well as the presets for electric guitar, they're set out in different musical styles. You've also got some presets for acoustic guitar, as well as some presets for bass guitar. Now, the very cool thing about this is if I go back to channel 1, I'm going to go on to channel 1 now, and I flick the line switch to select it from mic to line, you can see that we've now got a guitar preset there. What actually happens is that you can access another instance of the amp modeler. So 2 of you can plug into this thing, and it's not going to be the same sound. I've experimented with this. I plugged 2 guitars in and was strumming one of each to see if you got any weird cancellation or if it was using the same instance of the modeler. It wasn't. So effectively, it's like you've got 2 ampler modelers built in. So if you want to sit down and jam with a friend, someone playing bass or rhythm guitar, and you can also have a vocal mic as well. This makes for kind of like your own sort of personal PA system. Okay, let's now move on to channel 4. Now, channel 4 is where it starts to get really interesting for me. And this is where you can stream music. Now, there's a couple of ways you can stream music. On the back here, you've got a USB-C socket, which enables you to plug in your computer or another device and stream music via a USB-C cable. I have done that with both my Mac and with my iPad. You could also plug in a USB-C little flash drive, and you can also use that USB-C as an output as well. You can record guitar onto a USB flash drive, or you can record guitar into the designated recorder within the app, which also makes it quite good fun. You can jam some ideas. If two of you are playing together, then you can record your jams. I did try to hook it up with Cubasis on my iPad. It didn't work for that. I haven't tried connecting it to my DJI camera to see if it records the audio that way. Not sure if it supports that. It would be a really good update, I think. But the fun part is that you can also stream music via Bluetooth. Now, you might be thinking, wow, streaming music by Bluetooth. There's a genius modern idea. But we've got this button here. If I press that, you now have AI assisted stem splitting. So in other words, if you're learning tracks like I am for this tour, you don't have to be like, I'm listening to tracks on my iPad, practicing with my little Boss headphones. I wish I could isolate that guitar better. Oh, I've got to open it on my Mac, and then I've got to split the stems and then wait for it to process. This does it in real time. That's crazy. So you could be streaming music off of your device and go, I want to get rid of the guitar. And you turn the dial down to lose the guitar. The guitar is gone. Or I want to drop the level of the vocals. Or I want to lose the vocals and all the other instruments and just hear the guitar, which makes it super powerful for also being able to learn parts. Now, I think that alone is worth it. In fact, that was one of the reasons why I got the little device, because the little device, the solo version, supports many of these features. Obviously, it's in terms of the inputs, where it's designed for guitar and a microphone. It's also actually got a microphone built into it. So it hasn't got all the jamming capabilities, but it's still got the AI stem splitting. It's still got the amp modeling. You can still record with it, all of the different those functions. It's just obviously the Trio is designed more for that interaction with other musicians. So real-time stem splitting. We've also got a some EQ and whatnot. And when you go back into the mixer stage of the unit, you can also mix the different levels of everything. And you've also got an overall master volume as well. Something else, if I hold this button, we're now into the tools section. This is like the master sort of function button. If you can press it in, you've got a guitar tuner. You've got a metronome. Okay. You've also, there's some other functions there to do with the display. You can flip the display as well, which is quite nice. But the other thing also is it has a drum machine. It's very, very basic drums. Okay. It's not going to sound like your drum plug-in within your DAW, but it's enough of a groove for you to be able to practice to, and jam to as well. So I think that's a really cool thing. You know, I would just need a drum groove. You know, you're not going to use it to record an album, but just to get some ideas down or to keep time. And there's different styles. I think you've got 4/4 or 12/8 time signatures. And of course you can change the tempo. But something else which is ultra cool is if I go here, you've got a looper. Yes. If there wasn't enough, you've also got a looper. Now, the looper, at first, I was like, well, how are we going to activate that? The looper actually counts you in, and you can set the looper to different bar lengths. I haven't worked out how to do that on the unit itself. I would imagine you can. I found it a little bit easier to do some of those operations using the app. So we'll look at the app in a moment when we test some sounds. But you can record the looper. You can record yourself. You can overdub yourself. You can save your jams. The other really cool thing as well is that with the looper, I have two guitars plugged in. I had one plugged into the main socket there for the main guitar in. I plugged another guitar into channel 1 and selected it to line. So I had a second instance of the modeler working, and I was strumming both guitars. It was a cacophony. It was awful. But I managed to record. I was recording both guitars with different guitar sounds using the independent modeling section of the unit, if you like, or the two independent modelers, and it recorded successfully. So you didn't get any of that where sometimes you plug two guitars in. So, oh, we can just plug two guitars in and it all just goes a bit weird. There was absolutely none of that with this. It's literally like having two modelers. So that's a really, really cool feature it's got loads of stuff going on with it. Okay, now let's take a look at the app. I am screen recording the app so you can see what's going on. Everything that I'm going to do, you can do on the controls on the amplifier, but just for being able to see it clearly, I thought screen capturing the app would be a better idea. So if I click on the Bandbox Trio, that takes us into the Bandbox. There you can see the lit up channels, channel 3 and channel 4, which is the Bluetooth channel, are lit up because those are active. The two mic channels are not active at the moment because we're not using those. You've got presets there, which you can see how the signal chain is on a preset, as well as my selection of different presets. And I can just click on one of those to load it. As well as that, I can also do it on the top of the Bandbox with that main control. We've got pickup selection there, so either active or passive pickups. Over on the Bluetooth channel, the music channel, we've got EQs. You've got some different EQ settings, a customizable one and some presets. You've got pitch as well, so you can pitch, detune the tracks, and which is pretty cool. We've got the main volume and an EQ there, which is kind of the master EQ. There's the stem AI stem split section. We'll look at that in a moment. Here we have the guitar tuner. Again, you can access the tuner on the top of the Bandbox itself. Here we got the drum machine, where you can select different grooves down the bottom. We've got funk selected at the moment. Down the bottom here, we got the looper. The looper's pretty cool. We'll look at that in a moment. You can select either the metronome or the drum machine to use with the looper. And then down the bottom here, you've got the output for recording. You've either got this phone, or obviously I'm on an iPad, or the flash drive. We're not connected at the moment. It says, please connect your phone to the product with a USB cable. Once I do that, then obviously it's connected for recording. And you can separate the output channels and then record directly, so you can record down some ideas nicely. Now, the only thing is that you can't record channel 4. You can't record music that you are streaming, which is a little bit of a shame. Because you can't record your jams with your backing tracks. But then obviously I guess that JBL very much have the whole kind of copyright thing in mind. Okay, so let's have a listen to some guitar sounds. I'm going to go to preset. You can select the presets if I hit channel 3 on the top of the amp and then I just turn the dial. You can actually see the presets are now changing on the app itself as well. And then if I sort of long press the function button, then it takes me, no, actually, sorry, I did that wrong. Let's come out of there. Let's go back to channel 3. If I do a short press, on the function button, then that takes me into all of the amps and effects and different speaker cabinets, but you can see that on the screen. So just to show you that there are different ways for you to be able to select sounds and edit the sound. So this is a clean comp sound. Let's have a listen. Nice guitar sound. You can go in there and change the amplifier. Maybe I want to change that to a kind of JC 120. I'm just going to watch the levels a little bit so that I don't clip. That's the one thing when you select the different amps, it does tend to, the volumes jump around a bit. And I can also change the speaker cabinet there. I could put a Vox cab on. I've got another a little 1x8 cab. So you can at the bottom as well, it says save. or if you just exit, then it will go back to the original setting. Let's go to the next preset. We've got a clean pop. Let's just keep an eye on that level. I'm just going to pull that down. So some chorus and reverb and delay. Let's have a look at some other presets. We got, what's this? Soulful Verb. Crossroads Drive. What's that going to be? Yeah, like an old tweed style. You see there, we got like a different overdrive. If I tap on the overdrive, I can change that to a wah-wah, a touch wah, or that precision drive. I've got a compressor. If you want to bring effects in, you just simply drag them down. There's the noise gate there. Or like I said, if you do a short press, that takes you into the preset, and then you just dial along like different blocks on the top here. And then you can just select those to go in to the parameters or change the types of effects. It's really simple. Let's have a listen to a lead tone. There was a couple of lead tones. Oh, there's like a Queen one here. So if you will look at that, yeah, it's like a Vox style. Well, actually, that looks more like a Marshall amp, but with a Vox cab. Some high gain stuff. What's that? Oh, actually, Feathered Blues. See, things like that. I like the tones like that. I find them a little bit more pleasing, actually. And we can push the drive. That was another thing. I wasn't keen on this interface here. We have to kind of slide your finger around it. I think adjusting the drive on the top of the amp physically is a little bit more precise. It's a really good drive sound. That's a really nice sounding amp model. If you're into more higher gain, there's like a lead solo. Let's have a listen to that. I wasn't too keen on the delay on this one. So if we go to the pure echo, turn the mix down again, I find that I'm not too keen on that control. And let's turn the feedback down. Yeah, it's a little bit scooped sounding, I guess. If I go onto the amp, I'm going to pull out some of that treble, push up. I prefer dialing it actually on the amplifier. For some reason, that's a 1x8 cab. Let's try a different cabinet. Let's go with that 2x12. That's a little bit tizzy. What's that one like? 4x10. Oh, that's like an orange. That's not bad. What's that? Like a British, like a Marshall cab. So, yeah, what's that? PV cab. It's pretty good. You know, that's not bad. And there's lots of other effects that you can add. I'm going to go to the chorus and let's just try and negotiate. I'm not too keen on that interface. I must admit on here, I don't like that. And now we've got a chorus effect. So you can see it's pretty straightforward when it comes to being able to change your tones. And as I said, you can do all of that on the top of the unit. You don't have to use the app. Okay, so I just want to take a moment to show you the looper. I'm going to click on the looper. Actually, that's something else I should mention. You can see at the top there, you've got bars laid out. I can have 8 bars, 4 bars, 12 bars, 16 bars. Let's just go for a 4-bar loop. And then once I hit record, you'll see it count me in. So I'll play some chords. Let's put a groove down. Here we go. Okay, so you can see there, I've laid down my rhythm guitar track. Okay, and then what I can do is I can overdub, so I can maybe add another part. Now, I wasn't very happy with that. I didn't play it very well, so I can hit undo, and we're back to the original recording. So let's just try and get a better take of that little single note line. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to channel 3 on the top here, and I'm going to find a kind of an okay kind of lead guitar tone, and then I can practice my lead guitar, so I can just jam along. Hours of fun. You can just experiment and practice. So that's a really cool feature about this, I think, from a personal practice point of view, and also from a teaching perspective, that you can set up these loops. And as I mentioned before, you can have another guitar plugged into channel 1 and select the switch on the back to line, so that you can then have another instance of the amp modeler open. So whoever you're playing with also has their own amp modeler. So I think that's really cool. You know, the sounds are very usable, but the functions there, having the drum machine for jamming, having the looper with the drum machine as well, being able to come up with things on the fly like that to practice to. Okay, so to just wrap things up, I just want to show you the stem splitting capabilities. This is really, really cool. I've got my player set up on my iPad. I use an app called Amazing Slow Downer, which enables me to loop sections of songs and slow them down. And but it doesn't really do anything other than that. So pairing that up with the stem splitter on either the big Bandbox or the little Solo enables me to remove the guitars completely, remove all the vocals and the backing music, so I can just hear the guitar. And this has been an absolute godsend rehearsing for the tour that I've got coming up. So as I'm playing the tracks on the iPad, I just thought I would do everything on the top of the unit, because this way, again, you can do it within the app, but this way, I thought it's worth showing you. So I'm on to channel 4, which is the Bluetooth audio channel on the mixer. You got obviously those mixer controls there. I'm going to hit the stem separation button, and that brings me up the controls window. And then I have a little control at the end that I hit, and the music will pause momentarily if you're playing it and you go into that mode. But it's going to process it in real time. So I'm going to play this track, a little bit of Floyd. I'm going to be a bit careful. I don't want to play too much because I don't want to get in trouble, but just to show you what I'm working on, and show you how I can remove guitar and vocals, and I'm just going to play around with the controls a little bit. Now that is incredible. Normally that would take a considerable amount of time number crunching within your DAW or a separate piece of software. But to be able to do that in real time just makes practicing so easy. I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to cue up the guitar solo. Let me just turn this off. And I'm going to remove the rest of the music. Now, sometimes it does get a little bit confused, but stem splitting can get a bit confusing with all the delays and stuff going on. I've already learnt this solo, by the way. I'm not going to sit here and bore you rehearsing. But something I can do is once I've learned the part is I can turn down the guitar and then I can practice along. So as you can see, I was able to create my own backing track to play along with. Obviously, I'm kind of rushing and doing this not in a very methodical way, trying to capture this technique and what this can do on camera, which isn't really an ideal scenario. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what these two devices are capable of. Like I said, you can do the stem splitting on the little one as well. Okay, so there we have it, the Bandbox Trio from JBL. What do I think of this? Well, I think this is amazing, really. God, I wish I'd had something like this when I was young, when I was learning to play. It's like having your own mini PA system or monitor wedge. It's high powered. It sounds really good when you're streaming the music. It's got 4 channels. Okay, so you can plug microphones in. You can plug a bass guitar. There's bass guitar amp models within the modeler section. So you can have some on a bass, some on a guitar, have your own independent modelers running. You've got drum machine there, so you can just map out ideas or just enjoy playing. Or if you're on your own, you've got a looper. And as well as that, you can feed backing tracks in, as well as put your favorite songs through and remove the guitars and play along with the stem splitting capabilities. It's got a tuner built into it. It's got up to 10 hours of battery power. I haven't had it plugged in. I'm running it off of the battery at the moment. It's relatively, well, it is pretty lightweight, really. It's quite a chunky device. It's really well made. I think that the type of people who would benefit from something like this, if you want a quick fix at home, something to jam and play with, if you want to have something where your friends come over and play, if you want something where you can just go and set up and play, you can busk with it. I think the music school thing is a really good option for it as well. Having these where you can play music through it, and have a couple of guitars running into it are great. A couple of things that I sort of think about it that I'd like to improve. I'd like to have the capabilities of looping the music and slowing the music down. I think that would be really good. Wasn't too keen on the interface of the tuner on the app. I could only find how to save the presets on the app as well. That wasn't very clear on the device itself. I don't know whether you can do that. I'm sure you can. Something else that I think would also be really good is if there's a way that you could sum channels 1 and 2 together to make a stereo pair. Maybe you want to use this, but you don't want to use the onboard modeler and you've got your own standalone stereo device, then you could plug that in. You know, you could be using this at guitar trade shows for doing demo work. It's just got so many uses. And I think JBL pretty much lead the way when it comes to Bluetooth speakers and headphones and devices. They sound really, really good. So the little one, as I said, I have only just taken delivery of this. I've been using this at home. I'm really excited to have something that big. It's like a little brick. And it's got all of that power in here. Obviously, it's only got one input, but you can run a mic in, or you've got the onboard microphone as well if you just want to sing ideas. But for me, it's the stem splitting, and it's having the capability of Bluetoothing backing tracks and just having a decent sounding speaker with a built-in amp modeler. That is really good. That can just fit into my guitar case or my travel bag. Check these devices out. Something that I don't normally review. It's not the normal type of review and demo I would do. Hopefully, the way that I mic'd up the amp did some kind of justice to it. It was a pretty kind of hard thing to be able to demo in that respect. You can record, as I said, you can record out of the output out of the back into the iPad to capture the sounds. But I was going to do that, but once I got into it, I was kind of like, well, it's kind of doing what it does. That's how you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it in the room. So hopefully that works. But also you could put a USB-C little flash drive in the back as well and record ideas onto it. But I think really the strong points here are just the fact that you just plug in and play to tracks. So there you have it, everyone. Check it out. And I'm going to do some stuff on the road with this as well, so we can see how I'm utilising the little one when I'm on tour. That's it from me. Hope you've enjoyed this demo. And if you don't already, please subscribe. Take care. Bye for now.